North Carolina looks quiet, but it is full of strange cases that no one has been able to explain. Houses look like they're burning even when there's no fire. A family leaves home and never reaches their destination. Footprints stop in the middle of a trail. So the question is simple. How can so many things happen with no clear answer? Today, we will look at 6 true mysteries from North Carolina that remain unsolved. Number 1. The missing mechanic. In January 2009, a fisherman found a pickup truck near the Cape Fear River. The engine was still running, the door was open, and the headlights were on. Inside the truck were a wallet, a phone, and a cup of coffee that was only half finished. The truck belonged to Brian Douglas, a 28-year-old mechanic who lived nearby. Deputies searched the area for footprints or signs of a struggle, but nothing was found. Divers searched the river for 3 days, yet no clothing, body, or equipment appeared. Phone records show that Brian called his own voicemail less than an hour before the truck was found. The voicemail recorded quiet breathing and something that sounded like running water. Brian had no history of depression. He had plans for a fishing trip and had been seen unloading tools the night before with no signs of worry. Weeks later, his tackle box was found downstream with a small hand-drawn map inside. When divers checked the marked spot, they found nothing. Brian remains missing, and the case is still open. Number 2. The 2 lost hunters. In 1981, 2 experienced hunters, David Keller and Franklin Moore, entered Uwharrie National Forest for a weekend trip. They signed in at the registry, parked their truck, and walked into the woods with full gear. They were familiar with the forest and often hunted in the same area. When they did not return, search teams entered the forest. Their truck was still at the trailhead, but no clear footprints led away from it. Search dogs detected a scent along a creek and followed it for nearly 2 miles. Suddenly, the dogs stopped in front of a group of pine trees and refused to move forward. On the 3rd day, searchers discovered both backpacks lying neatly in a clearing. The supplies inside were untouched. There were no footprints around the bags, no disturbed soil, and no rifles. It looked as if the bags were placed there without anyone walking to or from that spot. Helicopters, infrared scans, and large search groups found no remains. No clothing, gear, or bones were ever recovered. The case remains unsolved, and no explanation has ever been confirmed. Number 3. The Bragg Road Firehouse. In the early 1990s, people living near the Bragg Road in Cumberland County reported seeing blue flames moving above the roof of a small house. They called the fire department, but when firefighters arrived, the house showed no sign of heat or damage. There was no smoke and no burn marks, but there was a strong smell of something burnt. Over the next few years, different neighbors reported the same thing. The county later listed the property as a vacant lot, which meant the house should not have existed. Yet people said they still saw lights inside and shadows moving across the windows. 2 teenagers once walked up to the house. They reported hearing quiet voices inside. When one touched the doorknob, his hand felt burned even though the metal was cold. A utility worker later found that the house continued to receive power bills, all paid in cash, even though no one was ever seen living there. The county tried to condemn the property, but demolition workers refused to enter. Today, the land is fenced off, and residents still report blue flames on some nights. Number 4. The Highway 74 family case. In the 1970s, the Parker family left Charlotte and began driving to Wilmington. The family included James and Linda Parker and their 2 children. They had packed food, clothes, and maps for the trip. 3 days later, their car was found on the side of Highway 74. The car was locked. Inside were full suitcases, drinks, a road atlas, and a child's teddy bear. The keys were still in the ignition, but there was no sign of the family. Investigators checked gas receipts in the glove box. They showed the family had last filled their tank about 40 miles west. A worker at the station remembered them clearly. He said they were calm and nothing seemed unusual. Search teams looked along the highway for miles. They found no footprints and no items belonging to the family. No motel or restaurant had records of seeing them. One officer reported hearing quiet children's music from the car radio, even though the battery had been removed. The family was never found, and no documents, cards, or records ever appeared in later years. The disappearance remains unexplained. Number 5. The footprints in Linville Gorge. In October 2012, Andrew Carter, a graduate student from Raleigh, went hiking alone in Linville Gorge. He sent his sister a picture at noon to show that he had reached the trailhead. When he did not return home, search teams went out immediately. They found his car parked neatly. The searchers quickly discovered his footprints leading down the trail. After almost 2 miles, the footprints stopped suddenly. The ground ahead was soil that should have shown more tracks, but it showed nothing at all. Search dogs followed the scent to the last footprint and then sat down and refused to go forward. The handler said it felt like the scent had simply ended in the air. Volunteers, park rangers, and rescue teams searched cliffs, ravines, and the river. Days later, they found Andrew's backpack against a tree. Inside were snacks, water, and a camera. The last photo was taken at 1:17 p.m. and showed a strange angle, as if the camera slipped. No shoes, clothing, or equipment were discovered. Andrew was never found, and the case remains open without any clear explanation. Number 6. The one-night carnival. In the summer of 1965, several families in Cherokee County reported seeing a carnival in a field. They said they saw strings of lights, a Ferris wheel, swings, and small stalls. They also heard music and laughter. Some families drove out to the field and said people were walking around and riding the attractions. The next morning, the field was completely empty. The grass was untouched, and there were no tire tracks or tent marks. When the county checked records, they found no permits for any carnival that year. No traveling fair company claimed they visited the area. Residents continued to share detailed memories. They remembered the smell of popcorn and the sound of creaking wood. One woman said her daughter held a paper ticket that had no writing on it. In 1972, a farmer clearing brush in the same field found small wooden pieces, painted red and yellow. Tests showed the paint was from decades before 1965. Today, the land is used for farming. Some locals say they sometimes see lights far away or hear faint music at night, but nothing official has ever confirmed this event. These 6 stories remain open, and no one knows what really happened. Which one surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments. If you want more true mysteries from other states, let us know. Remember to like the video and subscribe so you do not miss the next case.